The ACCC has awoken somewhat unexpectedly from hypersleep, kind of like Jesus on Easter Sunday back in 33 AD, which is a roughly equivalent miracle now that I think about it. The corporate regulator immediately and industriously began weaving a razor wire enema, which it hopes to deliver personally to one of Australia's top-tier manufacturers of beautiful self-haul porter slums in federal court. If successful, I am sniffing the distinct odour of class action soon thereafter. But to be fair, the stench could also merely be effluent leaking from the in-kitchen crapper. I'm John Cadogan from Expert.com.au. New cars cheap, but Australia only. Website code. Australia's fondness for the rolling 3.5-tonne hovel is, of course, entirely understandable. Only a great nation as comfortably inside the top 10 for scientific illiteracy as us could embrace the chitois life. Livin' la vie de chitois, dude, as they almost never say in France. Caravans are, of course, a triumph of 21st century innovation and efficiency. Show me another domestic arrangement, even in the third world, where one can suck on a scoob at the head of the dining table, which is also the master bed, while tossing a cheeky stir-fry on the four-burner and entertaining like-minded guests, while at the same time taking a dump and having a shower. Caravanners really do seem to know something the rest of us don't, which makes them somehow different. This report is sponsored by NordVPN. Get a mega discount plus 4 extra months of Nord totally free right now. Go to nordvpn.com/AEJC. Online security threats are everywhere, but you don't have to be the next victim. That's where NordVPN comes in, locking everything down efficiently in the background. Go to nordvpn.com/AEJC now. Every 2-year NordVPN plan receives that mega discount, plus a coupon for a stack of free data on Saily, which is Nord's innovative eSIM for travel. nordvpn.com/AEJC. Link in the description. Using NordVPN is easy. Just subscribe, download the app and connect. 1 click later, your IP address is shielded and your traffic is encrypted across as many as 6 of your devices. Nord is the fastest VPN on the planet, and it costs only about as much as a single cup of coffee every month to keep your data, your identity and your devices secure. Masking your location means you'll be able to access streaming and other services that might be blocked where you live. Plus, you can continue to watch your favourite content when you travel. Go to nordvpn.com/AEJC now. Boost your security, get that mega discount and enjoy those extra months, plus that free eSIM Saily travel data, all completely free. It's all totally risk-free with Nord's rock-solid 30-day money-back guarantee. It's easy to stay safe online. Visit nordvpn.com/AEJC now. It is therefore, to me at least, unsettling in the extreme that the ACCC's enema is targeting the crack of one of the nation's largest and proudest constructors of top-tier porter slums, Jayco. Now, point of order, terms like slum, hovel, chitois, effluent carriage, etc. When I use them here, and of course at other times, they're just jokes, dude. Live a little, laugh a little. Still allowed, I think. I'm sure Jayco's vans are broadly okay. Certainly they're not worse than any other effluent carriages I've ever seen. And I'm all about the equality, right? I hate caravans equally, all of them. And passionately, it must be said, the great atherosclerosis of the national highway system. The ACCC alleges that Jayco has been, and here I'm paraphrasing again with comedic intent, bullshitting consumers by taking glossy marketing photographs of their regal, effluent carriages in aspirationally rugged off-road locations and contexts in which they were not designed to be used. And they further allege that Jayco explained somewhat unkindly that consumers might like to go and have intercourse with themselves when their rolling monuments crapped out after being used in the manner depicted in the brochure, and the issue of warranty raised its ugly cranium. Imagine that. Imagine such alleged conduct coming from none other than the pinnacle of rolling crapper Canyon. The world's best porter slums, in which King Charles himself would be proud to take a dump at the head of the table in the kitchen, on the bed, live on national television. It's unthinkable. Please say it isn't so. Of course, Jayco is not taking these serious allegations lying down. And by lying down, I mean sitting on the crapper, leaning against the refrigerator with its feet up on the bed/club lounge. Jayco will vigorously defend the claims brought by the ACCC and thereby seek to vindicate its reputation as a manufacturer of high-quality Australian products. That's what some dude or dudette from Jayco told Rupert's Rag recently. And if it's in Rupert's Rag, dude, obviously it must be tantamount to gospel. And that's not all they said. Jayco has a proud legacy spanning over 50 years as Australia's leading manufacturer of over 275,000 RVs and caravans, with an unwavering commitment to quality, safety, and customer support. Imagine that just for a second, proudly gumming up the Australian highway system for 50 years. Doing 50 k's an hour uphill and 150 downhill in the overtaking lane with 1,000 cars stuck behind. Inflicting 275,000 caravans on an already overloaded road system. If you parked all of them, each with its snout proudly up the next van's clacker, the conga line would stretch 2,000 kilometres. Imagine that. I think I might have just described paradise. Jayco categorically denies that any of its advertising or promotional materials misrepresented or misled consumers about the off-road capabilities of its Outback, cross-track and all-terrain recreational vehicles when compared to the terms of the Jayco warranty or otherwise. So this should be quite fun to watch. A battle royale of the in-kitchen crapper set versus the man. Here's what the ACCC alleges. The ACCC alleges Jayco's advertising depicted the RVs in various off-road conditions, including on unsealed or rocky roads with significant rutting or undulations, sand or beaches, water crossings, four-wheel drive only tracks, or specified locations that are only accessible by four-wheel drive only tracks. In fact, the ACCC alleges the RVs were not designed for use off-road, on four-wheel drive only tracks, or in the off-road conditions shown in the advertisements. In particular, as described in Jayco's warranty, the RVs were not designed for use or towing on four-wheel drive only tracks, terrain with hard impacts, heavy landings, or rutted roads or tracks. The ACCC also alleges that Jayco did not disclose, or adequately disclose, in its promotional materials that the relevant RVs were not designed for use off-road and or on four-wheel drive only tracks, and that the warranty for the relevant RVs would not cover such use. Imagine the horror. Dude, you buy the best damn Australian porter slum which money can buy on the basis that it is, I don't know, quote, purpose-built off-road hybrid RV, or, quote, built with off-road travel at the forefront, or presuming it can, quote, tackle just about any terrain on the basis of it being, quote, designed specifically for off-road adventures. And then they tell you perhaps it is, quote, our toughest off-roader, purpose-built to tackle the tough Australian terrain. And furthermore, quote, purposely made to take the road less travelled. Just makes me want to go out there. On the basis of that, I can see how one might assume that such a fine chariot full of his and hers effluent might be worthy of full warranty support if it cracks off a giant deuce in its duds while slogging down the track to Dingo Piss Creek to meet up with like-minded room temperature IQ individuals who discuss the various pros and cons of composting versus chemical toilets and other pressing societal issues. This is not Jayco's first romp in the hay with the ACCC. They have slept together before in federal court. That was back in 2021 when the federal court ordered Jayco to pay roughly 2/3 of the cost of a typical chitoir, like 75 grand, in penalties for making false or misleading representations to a consumer, like one of you, about their consumer guarantee rights. Imagine that. Apparently, Big J bullshat a consumer who was entitled to a full refund or replacement by claiming that they were only entitled to a repair. The court also found that the 4 consumers' porter slums about which the ACCC's case orbited were not of acceptable quality, and that 3 of them had major defects. Imagine that. The court stopped short, however, of finding that Jayco's conduct was actually unconscionable. It appears to me that Big J just acted like misleading or deceptive bar stewards to one dude and sold at least 3 highly dodgy vans. Big J agreed with the ACCC to make joint submissions to the court in relation to the penalty, and they consented to a declaration and costs order. I don't know about you, dude, but if I'm taking a dump in my kitchen over a beer with friends, I don't want my porter slum's roof leaking in the rain, and I'm also firmly against, quote, multiple roof collapses. It's all there in this carefully vetted ACCC news release. I have a distinct picture in my head concerning the roof integrity of my rolling hovel, if you don't mind, and multiple collapses is not part of that picture. But it does suggest something to me about caravan construction quality in this great Antipodean shithole. Perhaps something should be done. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what the court finds on this one, vis-a-vis these latest allegations, in due course kind of thing. Don't get me wrong, dude. I do not want to discourage you from taking your effluent on that coveted big lap of the finest busted-ass cattle scrub the entire world has to offer. It's right there on your doorstep. Quite the opposite, like knock yourself and your effluent out. Get out there. Do it now. You know you want this. I want you actively out there, as far away from me as possible, for as long as possible. The one thing we've got in common is, I suppose, we're all about embracing nature, dude. You and me. We just do it differently. I prefer to stay at the Hyatt in a top-floor suite with a grand view of nature. Nothing revitalises me quite like getting up at the crack of 11 and hurling the curtains open, then energetically tackling another demanding ascent on the north face of Red Bush Mountain. That's how you know you're properly alive.